Hello everyone, and welcome back to another My Time at Sandrock guide. Just like last week with Portia, we are going to cover the combat in Sandrock this time. It is both very similar, and yet quite a bit different from Portia. So let's get the similarities out of the way first. First things first, you are going to level up from doing everything you can. We're again here on Demo Girl, and you can see I'm level 4. I have not equipped any actual swords or weapons. If I look in my inventory here, you can see I don't have a sword or a spear or anything like that. Now, you will have a combat demo, or a tutorial rather, early on. Basically, once you have your first real day when you're going in to go get the approval of Matilda, you'll run into Penn and he'll give you a combat tutorial. There are technically 5 types of weapons in this game. You have 4 different melees, and then a whole slew of different ranged weapons, which we'll get into that in a little bit. But the important stuff is, again, you have attack and defense and endurance. Now, crit rate, crit damage, you can see crit damage has been kind of subsumed together into a single crit damage instead of separate melee and range like we had in Portia. We now have a luck stats, which I'm not entirely sure what that does, but we also have the toughness and the break stats. So already you can see we have way more going on here than we had in Portia. So health, standard, stamina. This is your stamina is what you do for doing things around the valley. Endurance is for things like if I do a dodge roll, you can see that little bar going down. That's my endurance. In Portia, it was also used for sprinting, but not in Sandrock. So it's not as essential, but it's still good to have. Just like in Portia, you have a fighting or combat tree that you can level up through, here we go, the knowledge tree. Now, this character, I'm not level 5 yet. I haven't unlocked it. So we will switch to another playthrough and go through that a little bit later. But you will have a whole other tree for that. Unlike in Portia, the way it works, in Portia, you gain 1 perk point per every character level you do. In Sandrock, you have 4 separate trees that all gain experience of their own based on what you do. So things like crafting, collecting, combat, and social, I believe, are the 4. Just like in Portia, you can see that your apparel and gear will affect things, but you have more slots this time. Instead of just headwear, tops, and pants, you also have shoes. You also have, of course, your same 3 accessory slots as before. The nice thing is, I can go in here and they will be automatically from here. I don't have to switch over to my inventory to put it on. And in fact, I can, as you saw that way, but I can do it from my character menu as well by selecting these. So, talking about gear, let's take a look at the weapon styles. There are 4 of them. You have daggers, spears, swords, and sword and shield. And you can see all of these require a lot of stuff. You can also make early on some casual level gear for yourself, but you can see these are ingredients I don't really have stuff for Demo Girl. Because again, it's only the 2nd day of the game. Actually, I guess it's summer too. But there's ingredients I haven't picked up yet. So we'll switch over to my other account to demonstrate weapons and stuff in play. But there is also a quality system, which we're not really seeing here. You have quality ordinary, quality outstanding, and so on. You're kind of seeing it here, but there's actually 4 tiers. You have your gray, which is ordinary, your green, which is outstanding, your blue, which we'll see in a minute what that's called, and then your purple. Those are the 4 qualities that I know of in-game right now. Maybe they'll eventually do an orange legendary? That seems to be common, but I haven't seen it in here, so don't expect it. But you can see also I have a throwing walk, rock. This is a weapon. You see there in the bottom it says Q. It'll be a different thing for you in your consoles, but I can use this as a weapon. So, I can walk around like this. Oh. And throw it at an ant. It is a ranged weapon that I can chuck and do that. And just like before, you can learn your enemy's combat patterns. So I am barehanded. And I'm hardly doing anything, but there's the break. That is what break is. When you break an enemy, you can see those little pips under his name. As I hit him, he loses pips, and I break, and now I'm doing more damage. So you can sometimes just be really aggressive. But you also have break. That is what this here is. Now, range break isn't going to show on you because I'm not ranged, but, 1. Toughness is your ability to how many pips you have. Break is your ability to do damage to their breaks. Of course, I'm doing that. So let me switch over to my personal playthrough, and we'll show some more of this in action. Alright, and we're back, and we're taking a look at the knowledge trees. I've mentioned these in previous videos, but you can see, this is my gathering, and I'm level 18 in gathering. I've got 18 perk points in this. My workshop one, this is where your crafting is, level 16. Social, I'm level 11. And combat, I'm level 12. So you'll have a bunch of different perks, and you can see I've got most of the tree already. You can see I prefer sword and shield on this one. This is about the only one I haven't gotten, and then there's these others for the other, your daggers, your spears, and your heavy sword. And you can see these have okay, 4-hit, learn a 4-hit combo, learn a 5-hit combo, learn a 5-hit combo, learn a 5-hit combo. Each of these weapons is going to have a different attack speed, a different combo style, etc. And we have these here that either I haven't unlocked or haven't been put in the game yet. Probably the former. But you can see there's additional perks, and they follow the perk point tree of hey, I had to get this point here in basic melee knowledge to unlock any of these, and so on. So as you fight, you'll definitely improve these. You will also, as you progress, learn new recipes for new weapons. So we'll start with the stone ones here that you can start early on. And I made Outstanding Version. It gained a boost to a 10% chance to deal an extra point of break damage. So 1 in every 10 attacks with these daggers is going to do, instead of 1 break, is going to do 2 breaks. Stone Spear. Craft. Yep. And this one you can see has lifesteal. The effects are going to be random, so you may have to craft multiple weapons to get the ones you like. If you struggle with staying alive, you may want lifesteal. You may want, let's do the stone sword. And here we go, there's a perfect. That's your blue quality. So now I've got 2 boosts. So 10% more damage when facing higher level enemies, and increase damage to small monster enemies by 10%. And you can see every weapon is going to have a different stamina consumption. So we'll make another stone sword to try and keep these on equal level. It's green, there we go. And that one's got a lifesteal as well. And where is the sword and shield? There we go, stone sword and shield. Ah, I don't have a wooden stick for it. Do I have wood scrap for those? Oh. We'll make one. There we go. And outstanding. There we go. 10% more damage when facing higher level enemies. You can also see that I've unlocked throwing bombs. You won't have these at the start, but you can do these as another throwing weapon. We'll throw some of those in there. As you progress the story, you'll unlock guns, which will require bullets. So let's equip all our green weapons. Take that off. Where's the sword and shield? And the bombs. So every weapon is going to have a different attack speed. You can see the daggers are pretty quick, but they're a smaller combo, just that 3 combo kind of thing. Your spear is much slow. Also, it's a slower weapon, but it's decent there. Then your stone sword, the big sword, your slowest weapon, but it hits hard. If we switch to the stone sword and shield again, you can see I've got a Q option. I can raise the shield for defense. And it's also kind of middle ground. So in terms of speed, it's going to go stone daggers. Probably the stone spear and the stone sword and shield are fairly similar. I think the sword shield might be a little bit faster. And then the stone sword. And then, of course, you're going to have your ranged weapons, which you're going to use, again, on keyboard and mouse. On here, it's going to be Q. When you get a console version, it'll probably be something like your left thumbstick. But like, hey, I want to shoot something. I can walk. I'm much slower, but I can walk and aim for the head. Boom, I can kill him that way. Or I can throw a bomb. And here's the Wild Alpha, and you can see, again, he's going to have those attack patterns. So if you struggle in the melee, you might want to do ranged in this one. It's much more viable than in, Portia. Because it's easier to try and avoid some of your attacks when ranged. But you're also going to be able to come in and, break. You can see how quickly I broke him. And part of it is my level relative to his, but, stone daggers. I'm doing multiple pips on his break because I have a break of 2. So I do 2 damage to pips on break. And my toughness, of course, is 9, so I have 9 pips. So you could absolutely see there's absolute aspects to it. And you do, can do that. So the downside of this versus Portia is because of that knowledge tree, the way it works, which I don't know what the button for that is. I'll have to learn it one of these days. Is I have to do combat to get these perks. Whereas in Portia, I just had to level up. Now, you can't unlock these perks until you're level 5, which doesn't take that long, to be honest. The game starts in summer, and you saw I was on day 2 on the demo girl playthrough. So I was already level 4 after only 1 day in game. So you'll very quickly be able to start unlocking perks, but you're going to have to do combat. You'll get a quest early on to make a stone sword and shield for Burgess, I think it is. And then he doesn't want it, so you get to keep it. But you can make any other weapons if you prefer. You'll find a weapon type that you like. There are upgrades as you go. My default, like I'm using right now, is iron. I've unlocked the second abandoned ruins. And I have access to iron now, so I've gone and upgraded that. And you can keep going, upgrading and making better and better as you go. If I come over here, you can see, if I scroll down, I have access to... Oh, it's not under this one. It is under a different table. That's another thing to keep in mind. Your crafting, you're going to have, jewelry, tailoring. There you go. You're forging. If you want to make bronze and iron tier weapons, you're going to need a forge. Make a pistol. Yes, a frying pan. Is it considered a weapon? If you want to just play for the memes, where did I put that frying pan? Oh, it's not done. It's going to take a minute. It does take time with the forge, so you do have to, set it and let it go and come back to it later. But there are different weapons you can learn. There's different gear. Your tailoring machine is going to be where you're making your armor and stuff. So there's different changes, and what machines do in this game versus what they did in Portia. You're not going to have everything just at your work table. I had forgotten about that. But you'll have to want to upgrade like your work tables and all of these to get new recipes for them and so on. But that is the basics of the combat. Like I said, you'll have access to different weapons, different things. Every enemy's going to have a slightly different attack pattern. And unfortunately, because I'm playing so high level compared to everything around me right now, because again, I'm, what, level 32 against level 5 enemies? It's not really easy to show that off, but it's still early access, so I don't want to ruin too much of what comes later. And I haven't even advanced that far in the game, but that is the combat. We'll wait a little bit longer for that frying pan to finish, just so I can show it off to you guys. Oh. The buttons are different in this playthrough, and this one from Sandrock as well, or from Portia. But you can make a frying pan here. Yep. You see, I keep doing that. I keep trying to go to my inventory, and it goes to a different thing. Instead of, it's B for bag now instead of I for inventory. I can smack people with a frying pan. Or not, I guess it's a punch. I don't know why it's at the forge. But it is there. I was hoping it would be a weapon. But yeah, you can see, I can bare fist things. Hey, Fang. You know. And this is, like you saw, how much, compared to what it was earlier, the bare fists, is you gain a lot of attack power just from leveling up. I don't think any of my gear, oh, wrong menu again, has attack boost. Defense, hit points and stamina, endurance, defense, crit damage boost. There's an attack boost. So we'll take that off. But that's not a huge attack boost. I'm still 161 to 177, so bare hands. You can see just how much just leveling up will help you. So don't be afraid to take your time focusing on your crafting and stuff. You saw with my knowledge tree that I think attack, between social and combat, these are way far behind my workshop and my gathering. Because I don't do these as much. I'm busy out gathering stuff and crafting stuff and so on, and you may be different. But all of your levels here will definitely improve the combat stats for this, as well as, again, improvements to your home. And yes, you can have stuff out in your yard. It doesn't have to be inside the house, but I keep it's the builder's license. Where is the thing to look at? I am not seeing it here. But yes, your wall lamps, your stuff like these. Oh, I know where it's at from here. You gotta take a look. Where is the like these here? Let me pick one up and put it in my inventory. That ceramic jug plus 3 to defense points. So again, you can put these, and I'm getting defense points from having it out in the world, out here. Various things that give boosts to your attacks and your stats. I am forgetting right now how to check those. There, in Portia, it was this thing you could check inside the home easily. Here we go. E-check. Nope, that's not it. But like everything, the lights that you start with, your wall lamps, these give boosts. If I pick this up off the wall and put it back in my inventory. So even at the start of the game, you're getting hit point boosts and so on. The game is helping you a lot more. The combat's not necessarily easier, but the game definitely gives you more options to it. There's more in depth to it, as we saw out here with the break and toughness, boot, systems and so on. The ability to have way more ranged weapons. So if that's the playstyle you want to do, you don't have to be like, oh, I get this gun or this gun, like you did in Portia. You can, very early on, have access to throwing rocks. You'll learn to make bombs. You'll have pistols that you get early on. So absolutely, have fun with the combat in Sandrock. And next week, we'll take a starter look at the combat in Rune Factory. It is a much more complex game than either of these when it comes to the combat. But it's also not an indie title, so I'm not holding that against either Portia or Sandrock. Don't forget to like, comment, and smash that subscribe button with your weapon of choice. And I will catch you guys next time. See ya!